In the glittering universe of French chanson, few names resonate with as much force, passion, and controversy as Michel Sardou. Born on January 26, 1947, in Paris, into a family of artists, his father Fernand Sardou was an actor, his mother Jackie a singer and dancer. He grew up backstage in music halls, cradled by the refrains of Charles Trenet and the sketches of Fernando. At 78 in 2025, this man with the gravelly voice, piercing gaze, and razor-sharp pen is no longer just an icon. He is a living institution, a cultural monument who has spanned 5 decades without ever losing his edge. Over 100 million records sold worldwide, more than 350 songs composed, dozens of sold-out tours that shook the biggest venues in France and Europe, entire generations who wept to Les Lacs du Connemara, thrilled to Je vais t'aimer, laughed with Être une femme, or reflected on musulmans. But behind the blinding spotlights, the deafening ovations, and the myth of the grumbling, patriotic singer lies a financial empire built brick by brick, with a rare intelligence among artists, savvy management bordering on genius, and an innate business sense that turned passion into a perpetual money machine. In 2025, Michel Sardou is officially retired from public life. No more concerts. No more theater plays. No more red carpets where he has to smile for photographers. He lives in an ultra-private villa perched on the heights of Cap Binat in Bormes-les-Mimosas, in the Var, facing the Mediterranean that sparkles like a diamond under the Provençal sun, surrounded by century-old umbrella pines, wild lavender perfuming the salty air, and absolute silence broken only by cicadas in summer. Discreet luxury, almost monastic. A luxury chosen after a life of tumult. A luxury paid in cash, no loans, no debt, no compromises. But where does all this money still flowing come from when he no longer sings? How can a singer, even a legendary one, amass a fortune estimated between 40 and 63 million euros according to the most reliable sources in 2025? What does he do with his millions today, on the eve of his 79th birthday? And above all, how does he really live in 2025, the year he celebrates 60 years of career with a cinema documentary, 2 autobiographical books, and an explosive compilation? Let's dive into the multimillionaire lifestyle of Michel Sardou, between dream villas that tell his story, bold investments that sometimes skirted disaster, costly passions like horse breeding or sailing, powerful boats slicing through azure waves, rare books lining his library like an intellectual treasure, vintage wines accompanying his contemplative evenings, and a retirement that feels like a final victory over time, fame, and money itself. Michel Sardou didn't just sell songs throughout his career. He sold raw emotions, ordinary life stories elevated to national myths, slices of eternal France captured with rare poetic accuracy. And France, loyal, grateful, sometimes divided, repaid him handsomely, making him one of the hexagon's most lucrative artists. Over 100 million albums sold worldwide, a figure placing him alongside giants like Johnny Hallyday or Charles Aznavour, but with a twist. Sardou always sang in French, for the French, never chasing international conquest at all costs. 26 official studio albums, 8 certified diamond for over 1 million copies each in France alone. Timeless hits that span generations, La Maladie d'amour in 1973, capturing heartbreak with heartbreaking simplicity, Les Bals Populaires in 1971, a nostalgic tribute to old guinguettes, J.E. Vol in 1978, a teen runaway's cry still echoing in today's parents' hearts, La Java de Broadway in 1977, a joyful satire of Americanization, Être une femme in 1981, bold provocations still dividing in 2025, Les Lacs du Connemara in 1981, a Celtic epic filling stadiums, Musulmans in 1986, an engaged text on integrations sparking passionate debates, Le Privilege in 1990, a reflection on sexual freedom, Du Plaisir in 2004, a triumphant return after a break. Each album was a national event, covered by the press, debated on TV, sung in schools, cars, weddings. In 2004, Du Plaisir sold over 1 million copies in France in months, propelled by singles like Salat and La Rivière de Notre Enfance duet with Garou. In 1981, Les Lacs du Connemara topped sales for 7 straight weeks, a record then. In 1978, Je Vole became an intergenerational anthem, covered by thousands of rebellious teens. But the real treasure, still pouring gold today, is royalties. Sardou always kept full control of his catalog, negotiating legendary firmness with labels like Trima or Mercury. No leonine contracts, signing away masters for peanuts. Every radio play on France Inter or RTL, every cover by emerging artists, every ad use for cars or wine, every karaoke in provincial bars or corporate parties, he earns via Sesam. In 2025, with streaming's boom, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, YouTube pay him millions annually in online listens alone. His songs fill nostalgic playlists like French 80s hits, weddings dancing to Les Lacs, alumni parties belting Je Vais Temer. And it's not over. In November 2025, for his 60th career anniversary, he releases 60 Annies, 60 singles. A limited edition collector's box, numbered, hand-signed, with remastered versions, live rarities, and a 100-page booklet of rare photos. Already 50,000 pre-orders on Fnac and Amazon, generating hundreds of thousands in weeks. Sardou never did simple concerts. He staged grand spectacles, popular operas, musical epics turning venues into secular cathedrals. Bercy, 93 shows from 1989 to 2013, an absolute French record, with monumental sets like medieval castles or Irish landscapes for Les Lacs. L'Olympia, legendary residencies filling the mythic hall for weeks. La Défense Arena, 2 sold-out nights in March 2024 for his farewell tour, 40,000 fans per night roaring choruses. Each tour featured Broadway-worthy lavish sets, 20-piece live orchestras, Hollywood lights with lasers and pyrotechnics, custom Paris-sewn costumes. Tickets averaged 80 to 150 euros, more for VIP meet and greets. His last tour, Je me souviens d'un adieu 2023 to 2024, 500,000 attendees, over 50 dates in France, Belgium, Switzerland, grossing 40 million euros after massive but controlled production costs. Even offstage, he earns passive income from TV reruns on France 3 or W9, collector DVD/Blu-ray lives, full show streams on YouTube Premium or Netflix, which acquired rights to some for its music catalog. Sardou didn't wait for Instagram influencers or reality stars to monetize his image and personality. He did it from the 2000s with flair, provocation, and commercial success surprising even his inner circle. Chez Le Gros Michel from 2000 to 2010, a chain of Parisian restaurants playing on his gourmet grumbler image, the average Frenchman loving good food and red wine. Provocative name, Chez Le Gros Michel. Concept, generous traditional French cuisine with a modern twist, neighborhood brasserie vibe but Parisian prices. 3 locations, first in Saint-Germain-des-Prés on a lively pedestrian street, second near Bastille for young partygoers, third in Montparnasse for tourists and theater regulars. House specialties, 30-day aged ribeye for 2, Burgundy snails with generous parsley, Valrhona dark chocolate mousse in copper bowls. Sardou greeted openings, signed table mats, posed with staff. Instant hit with pilgrimaging fans and regular Parisians loving quality and atmosphere. Average annual turnover per spot, hundreds of thousands. Sold in 2010 with hefty profit to a restaurant group that rebranded but kept the spirit. Sardou Seduction 2005 to 2015, youth clothing line inspired by his rebellious, patriotic, romantic themes. Organic cotton tees printed with cult lyrics like Je Vole or Les Lacs du Connemara, slim faded jeans with subtle embroidery, aged leather jackets with tricolor patches, cashmere scarves in French colors. Sold via independent French designers and concert pop-ups. No Zara/H&M giant, but profitable niche for retro pop nostalgics and TikTok rediscovering youth. Limited editions for exclusivity/rarity, special Christmas or Bastille Day series. Steady decade revenue, stopped in 2015 with sold-out stock and net profits. His 2008 perfume L'Eau de Michel, sophisticated masculine juice with citrus bergamot top, lavender rosemary heart, cedar musk base, modern black pepper accents. Bottled in frosted glass evoking 70s stage mics, brushed metal cap. Marketed as cult object for collectors/fans, limited signed/numbered editions fetching gold on eBay/Le Bon Coin. Steady royalties from Sephora, Marionnaud, online sales, minimalist effective ads in Paris Match/Telestar. But his boldest, most passionate, costliest venture, Normandy thoroughbred breeding from the 1990s, over 20 years. Millions invested in private stables near Deauville, personally selecting prestigious broodmares and promising yearlings for Chantilly/Longchamp. Won minor races, honorable places thrilling the owner, but in 2023 Parisian interview, "I threw money like a madman, always fourth or fifth, never podium, drove me insane." Frustrated by turf whims, injuries, disappointing trainers, he quit in 2023, sold boxes, land, trophies, recouping substantially via secondary sales/stallions. Costly lesson of millions lost, but barely denting overall fortune, leaving misty Normandy Gallop memories. Real estate, Sardou's true jackpot, where his deal-hunting instinct shone brightest. Portfolio built strategically, luxury buys at key moments, tasteful renos, intense or zero habitation, gold resales at market peaks. Neuilly-sur-Seine Mansion, 1990s acquisition. 700 square meters over 3 levels, 1,750 square meters landscaped garden by famed architect, glass-roofed indoor pool with blue mosaics, private gym with cutting-edge machines, soundproof studio composing parts of Francais and Du Plaisir, 20-seat leather home cinema with early 4K projector. Anti-paparazzi sanctuary with thick walls, electric gate. Sold 2010 for €18.8 million net, colossal profit funding others. 16th century Normandy manor near Bennerviltemer, overlooking endless channel waves. Rustic modern domain with horse stables, Reno outbuildings, organic garden, billiard room. Lived 15 years, sold 2023 post-breeding to fund southern move, nice profit despite rain. Early 2000s Florida villa in secure Miami area residence for kids English/vacations. Spacious, bright, infinity pool, private beach. Massive profit resale via 5% U.S. capital gains tax versus France's 40%. Best financial move of my life, he laughs. McGeeve Chalet, sumptuously furnished with stone fireplaces, wood paneling, outdoor jacuzzi, barely used beyond weekends. Per wife Anne-Marie Perrier, Michel needs to own beautiful things, even in used, but ditches burdens. Sold after years, near and used, profitably. Each deal netting millions tax optimized via savvy advisors/discreet holding. Current Pearl, 600 square meters local stone villa at Cap Binat, ultra-secure private Bormes Les Mimosas domain, bought late 2023 for €6.3 million before massive Reno largely by Anne-Marie Perrier. 180 degrees plunging Mediterranean view to horizon, vast teak terraces with shaded pergolas, isolated year-round 28 degrees Celsius heated infinity pool, minimalist calm interiors with bleached oak floors, off-white walls, floor-to-ceiling bays flooding light, modern baths with Carrara marble Italian showers/balneotherapy tubs. 2,000 rare book library including 19th century first edition Hugo's Contemplations from Drouot auction. Monastic paradise far from Neuilly's Baroque glitz. Hand-picked neighbors like Luc Besson adjacent, reinforced security with double electric barriers, infrared cams, 24/7 guards. Sardou lives as voluntary hermit. Morning walks with rescue poodle mix Lulu, black-white bastard. Outings on 10M Cap Camerat berthed nearby private port, twin 350 horsepower Yamaha engines hitting 40 knots, local Bormes market for beefsteak tomatoes/fresh basil, port cafe lunches with fresh pastis, terrace evenings watching sun dive into sea sipping 1990 Chateau d'Yquem from climate-controlled cellar. "I want to be left alone," he tells Nice Matin November 2025 during rare book signing village outing. On land/sea mobility, Sardou loves fine mechanics without nouveau riche flash. 80s Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow V8 with chrome bumpers/Connolly leather. Auction 2016 Arcurial for 6 figures delighting collectors. replaced by discreet powerful cap camerat for solo hires / estitropes escapes unnoticed. No private jet despite means, prefers business class commercial or occasional charters, sign of grounded practicality behind glamorous star image. In 2025, he sails Mediterranean weekly, skipping red carpets / festivals for solitary reflections on memoirs or onboard jazz hi-fi. Despite colossal wealth, Sardou remains detached from money as life driver. Money was never the engine, just natural result of sincere passion and hard work, he repeats in rare interviews. Avoiding tax exile like Johnny in Gestad / Switzerland, boring to death, plus I'm a leak, not exportable. Pays French taxes with dry humor disarming journalists, generosity discreet. Anonymous restos du cœur donations from 80s, 10,000 francs then, 5,000 euros today. Silent support for disadvantaged youth conservatory galas, animal protection associations since adopting Lulu, no fanfare or medals. November 2025, Sardou briefly emerges from Provençal retirement for curated 60th anniversary events. Cinema documentary Michel raconte Sardou November 6th in 200-plus Gaumont Path theaters, unseen archives, Garou / Florent Pagny / fan testimonials. 2 books, Un vie sur scène, chronological tours with backstage photos, L'Intégrale, MS 368 chansons, 800-page lyrics / anecdotes tome. Luxury 60 Annies, 60 singles box. TF1 September A Hewitt November 2nd, partly filmed in Villa, tells Audrey Crespo-Mara, I do nothing all day, effort is pool trip, I'm a lone wolf loving his den. Defends jailed Sarkozy for corruption. Didn't like imprisoning ex-president, humiliation for France. Slams woke feminists. Those taking my songs literally are idiots, listen with humor. Preps 2026 theater return with Fanny Ardant in couple play, introspective second memoir on regrets, politics, unfiltered man behind myth. 2025 routine, late 10 a.m. rises, terrace breakfast black coffee / village baker croissant, sunny library hours reading, coastal path walks with Anne-Marie / Lulu, local markets haggling produce, fine terrace wines stargazing, true luxury, silence after 5 decades deafening glory. Yet this tranquility masks a mind still razor-sharp. In the interview, Sardou gestures toward his library shelves, where first-edition Balzac neighbors dog-eared detective novels, and admits he rereads Camus' L'Étranger annually, to remind myself absurdity is universal. He reveals a secret ritual, every full moon, he rows the cap camerat alone to the Isles d'Hyères, drops anchor, and sings Les Lacs a cappella to the sea, voice cracking with age but passion undimmed. Anne-Marie films these moments on her phone, never sharing, their private offerings to the waves that carried his youth. He confesses the memoir's toughest chapter will detail his 1993 nervous breakdown after a Bercy collapse, the only time he considered quitting forever. I cried like a child backstage, he says, eyes misting. Fame nearly killed me, but the sea saved me. He still writes daily in longhand on yellow legal pads, rejecting laptops. Machines lie, paper tells truth. Neighbors report hearing piano drifts at dusk. Sardou improvising melancholic variations on G. Vol, Lulu curled at his feet. He mentors no one officially, yet young troubadours receive anonymous envelopes with handwritten lyric critiques slipped under Paris café doors. His wine cellar, climate-controlled to 13.5 degrees Celsius, holds 1,200 bottles. He opens a 1982 Margaux only for Anne-Marie's birthday, toasting, to surviving ourselves. He keeps a battered 1970s Fender Stratocaster in the studio corner, occasionally strumming half-forgotten riffs from La Maladie d'Amour, humming off-key but defiant. A hidden safe behind a false Hugo volume stores unreleased demos, raw, unpolished tapes from 1987 sessions he vows will stay buried until I'm gone. He tends a small rosemary patch on the lower terrace, snipping sprigs for evening pastis, claiming, Provençal herbs keep the devil away. On clear nights, he sets up an antique brass telescope to trace constellations, naming them after lost loves or forgotten bandmates. He refuses smart home gadgets. Alexa can't pour a proper Ricard. preferring manual shutters and a 1950s valve radio tuned to France musique for late-night Debussy. A single-framed photo on his desk shows a 25-year-old Sardou mid-performance, sweat-drenched, eyes wild. He touches it daily, whispering, "Don't forget the hunger." He corresponds by handwritten letter with a 12-year-old fan from Lille who sent him a poem about musulmans. Their exchange spans 3 years, sealed with wax and lavender. He practices Tai Chi at dawn on the pool deck, barefoot on warm stone, Lulu mimicking slow poses. He burns old tour contracts in a copper brazier each solstice, watching ashes spiral like stage smoke. He records voice memos of dreams on a vintage dictaphone, transcribing the lucid ones into potential song fragments. He refuses all streaming interviews, insisting, "My face belongs to the sea now." Sardou embodies pure French luxury, no blinking private jets or extravagant Monaco yachts, but absolute freedom to buy inner peace, sea-facing villas where time stops, rare books nourishing soul, vintage wines warming evenings, boat for horizon escapes, deep French roots despite 27 moves. From Neuilly Mansion to rainy Normandy, sunny Florida to snowy McGeeve, now light-bathed Bormes les Mimosas. Always moving like Saint-Four et après, but finally anchored. With Anne-Marie since 1999, he contemplates infinite sea, reads Hugo aloud, walks dog on steep paths, perhaps pens memoir sequels in Moleskine. Rich not in gold, but stolen time from spotlights, imperishable memories, certainty of speaking his mind uncompromised. In 2025, he proves true fortune is bidding fame adieu on your terms, living for self in silence, beauty, serenity of earned Provençal paradise.